All right, everybody, it's Game of the Week time. This week we have our Las Vegas Raiders at home here at Allegiant taking on the LA Chargers in a win and get in the playoff scenario. To break it down with me, I brought in my friend, Mr. Rob Cervantes, and we are going to talk about why he thinks this is the Raiders' chance to actually get into the playoffs and make some noise, making his first appearance on World of Matches. Please welcome in with a large round of applause, Mr. Rob Cervantes. Rob, man, welcome to World of Matches. Thanks for coming on and discussing some football with us today, bro.
Oh, thanks for having
We
me.
appreciate you
Excited.
being here. So this has been a tumultuous season for the Vegas Raiders. I think that's the proper word to use. And with all that being said, they actually have a chance to get in the playoffs, which is kind of mind-boggling when you think about a month ago where they were standing right now. What do you think that they need to do in order to win this game on Sunday Night Football?
I think the biggest thing is what they got to do is what they've started doing the last 3 weeks, which is run the ball, control the clock, not fall behind. I mean, looking back at that first game against the Chargers, they fell behind 21 to nothing at halftime, and they never really got back into it. So I think they just got to just focus on what they've been doing, running the ball, controlling the clock, keeping the defense off the field. I think that's the key for first and foremost right there.
Yeah, you got to use Josh Jacobs. I mean, you have this battering ram.
Exactly.
You got to give this guy's got to be a 3-and-out back all game long in order for you to have a chance in this game. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'll be the Charger fan here. I truly believe that the two best players on the field are going to be Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler. Raider defense has been a lot better this year. They've been much better.
Right.
They've played really, really well. But your linebackers concern me a little bit, especially with Eckler catching passes out of the backfield. And we know that Justin Herbert's he's ascending. He's a future MVP in this league. I really believe that. How are you going to stop these guys? Because if you stop these guys, you win this game. What's the game plan if you're a coach in the film room to put these guys down?
I think it's going to start with the offense. Like I said, you got to control the clock and run the ball. I don't think they really want to get into a shootout. The last game defensively, they only had 2 sacks, no turnovers. So they got to, maybe blitz a little bit. I think we actually are the least blitzing team in the league. So I think we got to get pressure on them, make Herbert uncomfortable. And like I said, we don't want to get into a shootout with them because I think their skill players are some of the best in the league. Like you said, Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, they're getting cooked back from COVID. So they're going to be at full strength. So for us, we got to just control the clock. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more Mariota to keep drives alive. He did a good job last week. Picked up a couple of really key third downs for us. I think that like I said, that's the key. Control the clock and just don't fall behind and don't get into a shootout.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Yeah, I don't think you have the firepower to win a shootout, even if they trot Darren Waller out there, which I think they're going to. I mean, I think
Right.
they're gonna hit that. They're gonna shoot that knee up, and they're gonna send him out there. This game to
Oh,
me
absolutely.
feels like week 1 when you played the Ravens. It just has that feel about it. I mean, I'm picking the Chargers to win a very close game. But I would not be surprised to see the Raiders win this game and go to the playoffs. I really wouldn't. It's a game that not a lot of
Right.
people are going to pick them. It's going to be
Right.
packed. They're going to be ready to go because they know they really have no business being there right now, depending when you look at what
True.
they've gone through this year. I mean, Nate Hobbs now with the DUI. It just seems like it's always something with this team. Let's talk about Derek Carr. You know how I feel about Derek Carr. Spencer's not a Derek Carr fan either, and Spencer is a diehard Raiders fan as well. It seems like there's two sets of fans. The fans that are willing to give Derek Carr a pass because there's always something that the Raiders haven't given him, and the fans that think it's time for Derek Carr to move on. Your thoughts on Derek Carr in this game and moving forward as a Vegas Raider?
Well, I think this is a big game for him because this is year 7. I've always been a huge Carr fan. I think he's been the best quarterback we've had for a while. He wants to be there. He wants to lead this team. I think when he's got the weapons, he's been good. Statistically, he's always been in like the top 10 as far as yards and touchdowns. I know a lot of that is coming from behind. For him, it's just like don't make the big mistakes. He gets a lot of flack for checking it down and not taking, running with the ball when he should. But like you said, all things considered, when you look at where the team's been the last few years, I mean, this is, he's only had a couple winning seasons since he's been there. So I think this is a huge game for him personally.
Yeah,
to try to actually make the playoffs and actually get a chance to play in the playoffs, because he's never actually played in a playoffs game.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Derek Carr's never been to the playoffs, Spencer. Wow. Can you imagine Derek Carr winning this game, Rob, and winning a playoff game? He'll be a Raider for life.
I can.
He'll be a Raider for life. Derek Carr will be a Raider for life if that happens. I really believe that, and I'm one of those people. While I love Carr, I really love Carr. I think he's a great dude. I really do. I just think he's run out of excuses with the Raiders, and I think it's time to move on. But this game could prove me wrong. So before we finish and make our final predictions, I want to talk to you about the culture of the Raiders. Spencer and I talk about the culture of the Raiders all the time, and it's just this year has been a soap opera for the whole world to see based on the culture. You know what I mean? The getting rid of John Gruden, the Henry Ruggs incident. You know what I mean? Now you have Nate Hobbs. There's last year it was Josh Jacobs with the DUI. It always seems like these kind of players are having problems on the Raiders or gravitating to the Raiders. And I think that the Raiders could actually potentially be a really, really good team. But I need to see a culture change, because a lot of this stuff is allowed to happen. Like, coach is going to let Hobbs play this week, which I think is insane. So who would you like to see be the next head coach of the Vegas Raiders moving on that could potentially maybe change this culture? Because a lot of times I believe when this kind of culture happens, it translates onto the field. Poor habits turn into poor play. What do you think?
100% agree. Like I said, I think one thing about Mark Davis is he'll go out and spend the money. I think Rich Bisaccia has done a great job while he's been there, keeping the wheels on for, like you said, this has been like a season like no other. I personally, like I said this a couple months ago, I think Jim Harbaugh makes a lot of sense.
I said that today too.
He's got Raider ties. He was an assistant coach. I think he's a disciplinarian. I'd like to see an established guy like that come in. I know they've talked about Dabo Sweeney and some college guys. I don't think bringing in a college guy where he's basically about to learn the NFL and kind of start all over. I'd like to have an established guy like Harbaugh come in, who has a history of winning. I mean, he turned the 49ers around in just a couple years and led them to the Super Bowl. And like you said, there's pieces here. I mean, it's not like the cupboard is empty.
Raiders have players, man.
Here. Yeah, there's pieces on both sides.
Players, yeah.
I mean, offensively, you got one of the best tight ends. The line is still a work in progress, but, like I said, we got to give these young guys a chance to kind of grow together. This is really their first year together. You got a rookie starting, a couple of guys that weren't expecting to play that much that, have been forced into starting roles. So we'll see how that goes. The receivers are getting better. I said it's an exciting time for Las Vegas. This is like their first real shot at any type of playoff game, in the 2 years that they've been here now. So it's basically a playoff game in week 18. So we'll see how it goes.
It's going to be an electric atmosphere. The electricity that was in the building game one is going to be that same electricity that's going to be in the building on Sunday Night Football. And I cannot wait to see how it all plays out. I think that the Raiders, while I'm taking the Chargers to win maybe a 1 or 2 point game, I think the Raiders may have a shot with Carlson can kick the ball from here to Idaho.
Exactly.
I could see him making a last-ditch 55-yard field goal to send the Raiders to the playoffs. And I tell you what, if that happens, the game is changed. Kansas City's eyebrows start to raise. The game has changed because it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. It's very difficult.
I see the Raiders. I see Carlson coming out, kicking one, and the Raiders walking off 27-24.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to take that same score, but I'm going to flip it. I think the Chargers' firepower will just be too much for the secondary. I think guys like Mike Williams will show up big in this game. Keenan Allen underneath is really good, and I think the X factor will be Austin Eckler. He's just a pain in the neck. He's just one of those players that's just annoying. He's just like a little gnat that always seems to find his way through the line and into the end zone, and I think Justin Herbert shines here. So either way, I think a team like Kansas City is going to have to end up beating one of these teams again, and it won't be easy. I think either one of these teams getting in the playoffs can win a playoff game. And I think that if it happens for the Raiders, I think Derek Carr is basically, you might as well put him in the Ring of Honor now. He's not going anywhere. So that's all we got for today, man. We want to thank you for coming on. Appreciate you coming on. We've been trying to get you on for a while, talk about Vegas, and I can't think of a better opportunity for to do so than now, especially with them being in this playoff game. 27-24, Rob Cervantes. Raiders, 27-24, LA, Dexter Reed. Everybody enjoy the games this weekend.